Hello, it is Heather from the Reading Mama, and I thought I would give you my April book haul. It went a little insane, okay? Partially because I am getting ready for our next homeschool year, and then I used the free books rather than buying school books with my own TBR, but that's okay. That's okay because I got them for free. That's the important part. So I'm going to show you my school books first, and then I'll show you my personal haul afterwards. So first up for my kids, I went ahead and got the Michael Morpurgo Arthur High King of Britain. I read a few pages of it. I did not finish pre-reading it before I bought it, but I read enough of it to know that this was going to be a good fit for my third grader. I really love the pictures in it. The illustrations are great. It is an illustrated chapter book though, so I mean, don't go into this thinking it's a picture book, but it is a great, I think it's gonna be a great fit. I also got a picture book called The Traveling Man, The Journey of Ibn Battuta from 1325 to 1354. We're doing Middle Ages, and I try to make sure that it is not just European centered. And so Amber at Heritage Mom has a great book of list of books that she recommends, and Simply Charlotte Mason has some more multi-diverse ones. And so this is a great little picture book. It has tells about this Muslim man, and I believe it's like beginning of the Silk Road, maybe, I don't know. Yes, because he's like Marco Polo, so he went from journey between Morocco and China. So anyways, I'm excited to have that. Other books for my young kids are Lantern Bears by Rosemary Sutcliffe, who this is the third in a trilogy, but from what I understand, they can be standalone. We have The Eagle of the Ninth. We don't have the second book, which is The Silver Branch. I'm looking at it, and Lantern Bears is set in Britain and the Roman army comes. So we've got that aspect. I have a Queen Eleanor, Independent Spirit of the Medieval World, a biography of Eleanor of Aquitaine. So I have this for a younger, and then I have one for my oldest as well. This will be my middle grade. Kids are going to read these. It has some illustrations and some photographs of artifacts and things like that throughout, but I think this will be a good middle grade biography. I'm always looking for biographies. And then other middle grade books, I have Albert Marin's Dr. Jenner and then the Speckled Monster. My oldest loves all things medical, and she loved this book. She got it from the library multiple times. And I wanted my kids to have a biology biography to read, and I love the way Albert Marin does this because they are biographical, but they give a lot of historical context. And so I know this is going to be a great fit, even though I haven't read it. But this is, what is it cowpox? Yeah, smallpox. We're going into cowpox and smallpox with this. So there's that. Then I got another Albert Marin because one of our sections in our Middle Ages is also going to be the Age of Exploration. And so we have read recently, you know, within 4 years, some other explorer books. There was one about pirates. Come on. So Sir Henry Morgan and his Buccaneers, Terror in the Spanish Main. Again, Albert Marin. So I know it's going to be phenomenal because I just love his writing for historical history nonfiction. Has some great illustrations, maps all throughout, but it is a thicker book. So, you know, I may or may not, sometimes with Albert Marin, I have my kids skip a few chapters depending on the content. But I think that this is going to be a great kind of something different from your traditional explorers, which we will do that also in our other books, but I thought, why not have a pirate book to read? That sounds fun. Then I have my high schooler. So I have a couple things for my high schooler. So I have the Famous Men of Middle Ages. I accidentally bought the study guide first, so I have the study guide also. And this is a chapter each of different people from the Middle Ages. So like we start talking about the gods of the Teutons and the Nibelungs, and it goes, what does it go up to? Gutenberg, Joan of Arc, Warwick, the Kingmaker. But what's really awesome about this Memorial Press, which I have a caveat about Memorial Press if you're interested, but it has some really great illustrations and artwork throughout it. Like I'm pretty sure this is an L. It might be an El Greco. But it has some really great illustrations throughout, which makes it better. And hey, I accidentally have a study guide for it, so there we go. I don't know if I'll use that, but and then I have the Famous Men of Renaissance and Reformation because that's the second half of the year, and this one has a little bit less artwork in this particular printing, but it starts with Petrarch and then it ends with Erasmus. No, it does not end with Erasmus. That's the end of that one. It ends with John Knox and John Calvin. So there's that. And then I have Voices of Renaissance and Reformation. So this has copies of primary sources or things like that, you know what I mean? So it has like their speeches, excerpts from their notebooks, selections from Machiavelli's Prince, John Huss's Final Declaration, Luther's 95 Theses, that kind of thing. So, you know, primary sources, but not primary sources. A few illustrations, but there's that. Those are all for my high schooler. And also for my high schooler, for fun, she's going to be reading The Princess Bride, because she used to be an avid reader, and she just decided at one point she needed a break from reading fiction, and I'm okay with that. She said she needed to focus on reading her Bible and reading real things, and that's great. I love that self-awareness was there. However, she also kind of had some other people telling her that fiction was not worth her time, and I don't want her to have that mentality. And so we're rebuilding that trust into fiction, that there are purposes in fiction, and some of that is by getting her to even want to pick up fiction, and I've done that with picking some humorous books. So Princess Bride, I think she will really enjoy. It'll be a quick read for her, even though that is a ugly copy. I also, for fiction, have for her Daddy Longlegs. I'm also going to read it, but I've just heard such wonderful things about it. It's a short book. But I try to find some classic fiction for her to read. And then to go along with it, she's going to read A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, going along with finding humorous things, but it also goes along with our Middle Ages. If you have not read this is hilarious. A guy from like the 1800s railroad time accidentally travels to King Arthur's court, and because he has knowledge of things like gunpowder and all these different things, he basically passes himself off as a masterful wizard like Merlin, and it's hilarious. I really enjoyed it. Then I have The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tay, and this is, I believe, so during the time of Richard III. So I'm excited to read this for myself, but also for my high schooler. It's just on the list of things that everybody says to read at that point in time, so of history study. And then I have her biography of Eleanor of Aquitaine that she will be reading. I probably will let her take a little bit more time. I do appreciate that this has some photographs of the statues and cathedrals, so that's nice. This one I've heard highly recommend from a mom I know, and so I'm excited to pass that on to her and let her read that, and I'll be reading that as well. And then another biography, I haven't decided if I'm gonna have her read it or if it's just gonna be me, but it's Susanna Wesley, the Mother of John and Charles Wesley by Arnold Dallimore. I've heard really great things about this book, and Susanna Wesley is just a great testimony. I've read about her in so many other books, but I haven't actually read a biography specifically about her, so I'm excited to add that, hopefully for my high schooler. Now on to books that are for me that I got with my free points. Okay, so I have Fantasties, a fairy romance for men and women, which will continue my George MacDonald days. So that is next after I finish A Light Princess and The Princess and the Goblin. I will be finishing those hopefully soon, and then I'll move on to this. I also got a nonfiction, The Rock That Is Higher. Story is Truth by Madeleine L'Engle. If you have been here a while, you know I started reading through the series A Wrinkle in Time, and I reread book 1 and then started book 2, and it's just so phenomenal. I need to pick up book 3, but I am just so inspired by her writing that I wanted to know more, and so I'm excited to see her nonfiction writing and all of that, how it works. So here she recounts the accident that nearly killed her and the journey to find God through the suffering and pain of recovery and forgiveness. Sounds phenomenal, sounds encouraging, sounds heartbreaking, probably gonna cry, but I'm excited to read more of her. I did it, you all. I have finally purchased my first M&M Lion. I've been putting it off. I fight trends like crazy. Like, it's really trendy. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna read that. And then I eventually come around. So I have this up for the summer. I'm going to hopefully read that this summer. I also got a G.K. Chesterton, The Man Who Was Thursday. This is not the best printing, but it's not terrible either. It's better than the last time I got a printing like this. Like, the chapters actually start at the beginning of a page rather than in the middle, like my awful P.G. Wodehouse printing came. So I'm gonna join this. I've always wanted to read Chester and haven't, so I got my next Tessa Afshar book, which is The Land to Silence, which I don't even remember what this one is. Oh, it's the one with the issue of blood. So I've been reading the Old Testament ones, and I'm going to continue doing that. I have one slated for this month, but this is a New Testament, and so I thought I'd try that one out as well. And then because so many people have been telling me if I love Tessa Afshar, I'm going to love Connellan Cossett. So I went ahead and got Counted with the Stars, Out from Egypt 1. So I guess it's a series. Oh, that's dangerous with me, you know. And so this is her first novel. You know me, I like to start at the beginning. And so yeah, we're going to be, I think, escaping Egypt with the Hebrews. Yeah. Okay. So I'm excited to start that maybe later this summer I don't know how many, yeah, about 300 pages. And then because there are a few authors, indie authors specifically, that I am trying to read to zero. And I have one author who I am very close to. Some of the authors that, if you're curious, I'm hoping to read Kate Stradling to zero, Victoria McCombs, Erin McGinty, and Ellen McGinty, and Erin Phillips. Erin Phillips, I'm super close to. I've read her 4 more traditional books, and so I went ahead and got. Sorry, my phone ran out of space, so I'm gonna do this quickly. But it's The Tales of Averia from Erin Phillips, and I know nothing about it. So book 1 is called The Keeper, book 2 is called The Varkin, and I think that these are fairy tale retellings. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm hoping to read these summer. Well, my phone is having none of it, so I'm gonna hopefully read these this summer. And yeah, so that is my April book haul, which was giant, and I am putting myself on a book ban until at least June, book buying ban until June. And so yeah, that's where we're at. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to know more, drop me a question, and have a blessed day.